Hi everybody, it's Caitlin. I'm here at Stone Zoo today. Thank you for joining us for another live to meet some of our animals here at Stone Zoo. So I have with me here Valkyrie, and I will give you guys a second to take a look at her so you can think about what type of bird you think this is. So Valkyrie lives on exhibit here at Stone Zoo. She is an ambassador animal, but she has an exhibit space as well. So she lives in right next to the Animal Discovery Center, right when you come through our Madre area. So Valkyrie has an exhibit there, and she was born here at Stone Zoo. So we have just Valkyrie here at Stone Zoo, and then we also have a couple barn owls at Franklin Park Zoo as well. So we have them at both zoos. So I just gave it away. She is a barn owl, is what Valkyrie is. And she, fluffing herself up a bit. So they get their name by being found in barns. So they used to be hunting mice in those barns. So they're actually a farmer's friend because they are usually eating a lot of the mice that are in those barns that might be eating a lot of their crops. So barn owls are found all over the world. They are found on every continent except Antarctica. So they are a very widespread bird. They are one that can be found in our area too, on the East Coast. I have never seen one in this area. I really wish I would, because they are one of my favorite owls. I think that they are very, very cool. So Valkyrie comes out on this glove for programs, and she's trained to do that. We've worked with her since she was younger. She's of course turning the other way now. She has been worked with since she was very young to be able to come out on a glove and meet everyone. So some of you that have come to Stone Zoo may have met her before, either when she's on her exhibit or when she's out on the glove at some of our different events. But as Katie is getting a nice close-up of her feathers, you can see lots of different things on there. So on her back, which she's showing right now, basically looks very similar to a tree, right? So when they're asleep during the day, what they can do is blend right into the tree so that no predators see her. She's giving you a nice glamour shot right now. So the other really great features of a barn owl, and many owls, is their feet, their talons here. So those are what they use to catch their prey. So as I mentioned the mice before that barn owls eat, they'll also eat other small mammals and rodents like voles. Where are you trying to go, Valkyrie? We got her turned around here. We'll go this way. So they will use these talons here to be able to catch and squeeze their prey. Their feet are their best defense and their best tool to hunt. So their beak is sharp too, but it is not as strong and sharp as her feet are. And that's what she's going to use. She's showing us everything here. So that is what she is going to use to catch that prey. So here at the zoo, she does get ground meat along with her mice. And that is her favorite, of course. She loves getting her mice. And so she will use her feet to help her to be able to rip those mice apart, her feet and her beak, which will help her to be able to eat that whole mouse. So what I have here too, I want to take this out so you could maybe get a closer look. Got a little frilled in my pocket there. But this is a barn owl feather. And they lose these regularly, kind of similar to how we lose our hair. They lose their feathers at different times of the year as they grow in new feathers. So Valkyrie right now, I'm not sure if you can see on the back, but she definitely has some new feathers growing in. There's some light ones there, And kind of on her, ooh, kind of on her wing on the other side, you can kind of see there's some, the end parts of the feather kind of growing in there. So she is growing in some new feathers, and it is coming into the summer season. So she's going to be losing some of those downy feathers so that she can stay cooler in the summer months, because they are a bird that is here all throughout the winter. So they have to be able to adapt to that. Now, one really cool thing about owls also is, before, when she was turning her head, is that, oh, she's showing us again. So right here, owls, where are you going? Owls are able to turn their head 270 degrees. So a lot of people think, and it's kind of a long time myth, that owls can turn their head all the way around, because when you see it, it is so far back. But they can turn 270 degrees, basically one direction to the right and one direction to the left. And that is because they have 14 neck vertebrae, which is double the amount that humans have. We have 7. So they are able to have really great mobility in their neck to be able to turn their head like that. And so that is really helpful for them when they are searching for prey or looking around, to be able to completely turn their head. And another feature of owls is their eyes. They have very keen eyesight. So what that means is that their eyes are actually pretty large inside their skull. So they are not able to move their eyes side to side with keeping their head still like we can. So what they have to do is fully turn their head. So that's one of those reasons why they need that big movement to be able to move their neck, because they're not able to move their eyes side to side. So they need that neck to be able to turn and see. So that great eyesight helps them to find their prey. And then they are also silent flyers. So when they're flying through the forest at night to find mice, the mice cannot hear them at all. So they're able to sneak up on them and get their prey. The other really cool thing about owls is their asymmetrical ears. So we have one that's a little bit higher up and one that's a little bit lower down, and that helps them to be able to pinpoint exactly where a noise is coming from. So they rely heavily on their sight and their hearing to be able to catch their prey. You can also see, as Katie's getting nice and close to her eyes, you can see those, I love those feathers around her eyes. And that is her facial disc that also helps with her hearing. The way that the noises are going to come off of that disc help her to determine where a sound comes from. But she has these very, very fine feathers throughout there, which are my favorite feathers on Valkyrie. Do we have any questions that came through, Katie, about Valkyrie?
We do. We
awesome.
Have a few questions come in. So Rich would like to know, how fast can they fly?
Oh, that is a really good question. I don't know exactly how fast they can fly, but they can basically swoop down very, very quickly to catch their prey. I don't know the exact speed, like how a peregrine falcon is the fastest animal and can go up to 200 miles per hour. The barn owl cannot go that fast, but they are able to swoop down very quickly and grab their prey. But I don't know what the exact speed is, but that's a really good question.
And
Woo.
Jennifer was wondering if they're endangered or if they have any threats in the wild.
That is a really great question. Thankfully, the barn owl is of least concern, meaning that they do have stable numbers, but because they're found in such a large part of the world, there are some areas where their numbers are declining. And one really big piece of that is habitat loss. But another is that because a majority of what they're eating is mice, unfortunately, there are a lot of people who want to get rid of mice as pests and will poison mice or rats. And what happens is when an owl goes to eat that animal, unfortunately, the owl is also poisoned. So that's another really big threat. And something to avoid that from happening is not using those types of poisons, because it unfortunately can kill a lot more animals than you were expecting.
And where in the world are they found?
So they are found on every continent except for Antarctica. So they're a very widespread bird.
All right, Oliver, who is 5 years old, wants to know how many feathers does Valkyrie have?
Oh, Oliver, that is such a good question. I don't think I know the exact number, because down here you can kind of see how they're separated, but up here it looks so smooth. It's hard to even make out the individual feathers. So I don't know the exact number, but has to be in the hundreds of the amount of feathers that they have. That's a really good question, though.
And can you tell us how old Valkyrie is?
Thank you. I was just thinking, did I not say her age at the beginning of this? Valkyrie is 10 years old. And so barn owls, in their natural range, they can usually live anywhere from 2 to 5 years. They have actually a pretty short lifespan in the wild. In human care, they are able to live anywhere from 10 to 15 years. So hopefully, because Valkyrie's here with us at the zoo and she gets really great care and food and checkups by our vets, that she'll be with us for a while.
And how much does Valkyrie weigh?
Ooh, another good one, because I had to find out from Katie her exact weight this morning, and she is 1 pound. So I was honestly surprised. I thought she weighed a couple more pounds than that too. But because they do have hollow bones, they are very, very light. When I'm holding her like this, she does feel heavier than a pound, but she is only 1 pound. And that's usually where barn owls fall into. It can be a little bit less than a pound, a little bit over a pound, but that's their general range that they're in, is about a pound.
And I'm not sure if you'll know the answer to this, but Kayla wants to know how we decided on her name, because she really likes her name.
Ooh, Kayla, that's a good question. I am not sure exactly where her name came from. So they've had a couple different siblings here. We have Valkyrie, we have Fenris at Franklin Park Zoo, but we usually her nickname is, we call her Val, but I don't know exactly who decided on calling her Valkyrie, but I love her name too.
And we have one last question. Jennifer wants to know if barn owls mate for life.
That is a really good question, and I believe that they do. Good question. Do they?
All right, I think we're just about out of time. Let's do one last close-up of Valkyrie.
Oh, one thing we didn't mention was about the noises that they might make. So something that Valkyrie does is she can screech, and to kind of make a high-pitched screaming noise, and that's the noise we usually hear her making. They can also kind of make little soft noises as well to communicate, but usually when they're out hunting, they want to stay pretty quiet so that they can sneak up on their prey. But I know that's a lot of times what people ask us about the noises that she makes.
And I think we have one more really good question to kind of
Awesome.
wrap things up. So we have a 12-year-old who wants to know what her name is and what type of owl she is.
Perfect. So her name is Valkyrie, and she is a barn owl that lives here at Stone Zoo. All right, thank you all so much for tuning in to meet Valkyrie today, and we hope that you keep tuning in to our 1:30 Zoo to Use, and our zoos are now open. So we also hope that you can come and see us and then maybe get a chance to see Valkyrie. Bye, thank you so much.